To the battling British, thanks, you can have 10 million Yanks if it takes 'em to tear the fascists down, down, down. If it takes 'em to tear the fascists down. Picture it. May 1992. Disney classic Beauty and the Beast just hit theaters. A couple of children who don't know how to dress themselves top the charts as Criss Cross's Jump hits number 1. And id Software releases Wolfenstein 3D May 5th, 1992. I was too young at the time to appreciate the history that was being made right in front of me. I did like Beauty and the Beast, though. Now it's July 2025. I just finished playing Wolfenstein 3D and Spear of Destiny all the way through for the first time. These games have been discussed at great length by people much more qualified than myself to show you the history of them. So, what do I have to add to the conversation? Well, before playing Wolfenstein 3D, I wasn't aware of some of the cool quirks it has with its control schemes, and I'm going to demonstrate them today. I hope you enjoy. So here I am. I've loaded up Wolfenstein 3D level 1-1, and, well, I have a keyboard. Well, that's normal, isn't it? Well, look at this. S and D, they don't move you right and left. They turn you right and left. It's like tank controls for a first-person shooter, and I just thought that was really cool. I did have to pick the controls myself, but watch this. Look at this, Mom. One-handed. That's right. You can hit fire with space, or whatever you choose. But because it's tank controls, you don't need a mouse to play this game. You can play it one-handed with a keyboard. And I just thought that was interesting. So, here you go. Turn. Wolfenstein 3D, like Doom and Doom 2, it doesn't need you to aim up and down. It will do that automatically for you. And plus, everything in Wolfenstein 3D is on one plane. So you don't need to aim up and down. So you can play the whole game one-handed, WASD, and then pick your fire button. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting way to play a game. I've never experienced tank controls on a keyboard, and I thought it was pretty fun. So, a second way, interesting way, that you can play Wolfenstein 3D. This looks familiar, it's a mouse. But look at this. You can move with the mouse, not just aim with it. Now, you'd have to have a mouse with side buttons or something to be able to open the doors and such. You'd have to map that to E and whatever, other things. Maybe put the map on this button. But it's just so interesting that you can walk around using a mouse. Now, it feels, to be honest, really gross, because I don't ever want to lift my mouse up off of the mouse pad or whatever surface I'm using it on. So I wouldn't recommend this, but this is wild. I don't know of any other game that controls like this. So yeah, you can control the whole game. I'm sure even with you could map the right-click button to something and the scroll wheel to something, and clicking in the scroll wheel to something, and the shoulder buttons to something. Not shoulder buttons, side buttons. You can play the whole game with just a mouse. And again, I think that's really interesting. When I first started trying Wolfenstein 3D, I was playing with WASD and the mouse. And as I started to aim around, I noticed, hey, my character's moving. What? And I put my keyboard hand aside, and I just started, wow. Feels weird, but interesting. What was available back in 1992? And of course, you can play the game with mouse and keyboard like a normal game on PC. This is how I played Doom 1, Doom 2, But it feels a little weird because this is how I, started playing Wolfenstein 3D. And if you accidentally move the mouse up or down while you're hitting WASD, it can kind of conflict with what you're trying to do. And it felt a little weird to me. So I didn't choose this control scheme when I was playing Wolfenstein 3D, even though this is what feels natural to me in Doom 1 and Doom 2. So what control scheme did I use when I played Wolfenstein 3D? Well, this is where some people might click off the video because this might be sacrilege. I used my 8-bit Joe Pro 2 controller. And it feels so good. I really like using this controller, and it is a really good controller. I recommend it highly. And I've got everything mapped to where I want it mapped to. Map, shoot, of course, on the trigger. And this just, it feels natural because this is how I control any FPS I play on PlayStation. Any first or third person shooter on PlayStation, on console, you control it this way. You can also, I guess I don't have that mapped. You could also, if you wanted to, use the D-pad if you map it. But yeah, this is how I played Wolfenstein 3D. And finally, one more thing that I can't demonstrate to you because I no longer have a Super Nintendo, but Wolfenstein 3D did release for the Super Nintendo, and here is the instruction booklet that came with it. Love looking at these old instruction booklets. And here are the controls, okay? As you would expect, D-pad, you move. X or Y button makes you run. A button is fire, etc., etc. Now, did you notice what's in the bottom right there, though? Mouse. Wolfenstein 3D apparently was one of the few games that supported the Super mouse. It came out originally for Mario Paint, I believe, but apparently it was available for Wolfenstein 3D. And that's just wild. It's another cool quirk of this game, that it is one of the few games that supports the Super Nintendo mouse. I expect this will be a shorter video, but I just wanted to show the cool different ways that you can control Wolf 3D. And I'll talk a little bit about Wolf 3D now, but again, there are people who have made videos that are much more qualified than myself, and they give a much better comprehensive review of the game. I think Wolf 3D holds up really well. Just like I didn't expect to like Doom and Doom 2, I didn't expect to like Wolf 3D. I thought I might just give it a try, not finish it, but id Software of the early 90s really knew how to pick villains. Nazis in Wolf 3D and demons in Doom. And this is one of the games where you get to kill Hitler. So it automatically has that in its favor. I have played a bit of Wolfenstein 3D in the past. One of my friends had installed it to the LAN network in my middle school. We had several games on that LAN network. Wolfenstein 3D was one of them. One version of Worms was another. I can't remember the other games that were on there. But so I did try the game, but I never got really far because I wasn't good at gaming back then. I didn't care enough to learn how to get good at it. But yes, I think it holds up really well for its age, and I genuinely enjoyed my playthrough. I highly recommend you give Wolfenstein 3D a try, especially if you care about the history of first-person shooters or the history of video games in general. I hope you enjoyed the video. I do have a few other ideas in the works, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching.